Okay, good day everyone. So I am the presenter about the topic of universal hypothesis. I am Marvin Montero. I'm thinking about the Bachelor of Arts in English Language. And I hope that you pay attention about this topic or this presentation that I present on you, okay? This is one of the fundamental topic about on the course of choice of language acquisition. Okay, so next, this is the table of contents or the contents of my presentation. The first was definition of the universal hypothesis. The second was the two perspective of learner processing input. Okay. The third was the characteristics of linguistic universal. And the fourth, the universal grammar and LAD. LAD stands for language acquisition device. Okay. So, the universal hypothesis. The universal hypothesis, it states the language acquisition is governed by the way in which natural language are organized. That is, a certain universal linguistic properties influence the order in which the rules of a specific language are acquired. Okay? So, according to the universal hypothesis, the linguistic was rather than the general cognitive factors that determine to the acquisition. So, in the first sentence of the universal hypothesis definition, it states that the language acquisition was governed by the way, such as the natural language also was organized. So it should be, for example, about the children or the child was born in this world when through by learning through existence about his life or her life. Okay, the language was organized. Okay, so that's the universal hypothesis. And the second was the certain universal linguistic properties influence the order in which the rules of a specific language are acquired. Okay, for example, me, because I'm the one that who willing or something, I always study about the foreign language, especially in Thai language. Okay, so the rules about in Thai language, I practice about that because it is acquired to learn about their their phrasal or something sentences about the phrases of Thai language. For example, about the "คนสบายดีไหมครับ" "คนสบายดีไหมครับ" It means about um how are you? Are you feeling well? That's "คนสบายดีไหมครับ" About the my. So it should be the rules of a specific language was been there because there's a lot of meaning about the my. It means you asking, you mean about it's something the last part of your phrases or sentence. My, you've been asking. It should be, you can see about my, it means not. Okay, that's why the rules of a specific language was been there or I follow. Okay, so next is about, this is the thing that you can notice or understand easily about the universal hypothesis in the process of creating or making a phrases or sentences. The first was, if a language has a dual number for referring to and that it has two something, it is the thing that we always call as a plural. Okay, and that is the type of implication universal. Okay, the next was, there is a high probability is the word with the nasal consonant. For example, about the M. In English, mother, the word mother. But in German, mother, mother, mother. Okay. In Spanish, madre, madre. Okay. And also in Thai, me. So that's why the nasal consonant was high, was probability is in to high. Okay. Next. Okay. So we are now on the next. This is the two perspective of learner processing input. Okay. The first was the use of general cognitive strategies that are part of procedural knowledge. So it is the processing input. The general cognitive strategies was being used or something we followed. Okay. Okay, these strategies are often as a learning strategies through learning about the new language or something you've been existence about, or you wanted or you willing to study about a foreign language. One of the general cognitive strategies that you can use, you can follow, because this is these strategies are often as a learning strategies. Okay, and the next, using a special language trainer allows them to work and input data to discover the L2 rules in the most efficient way. This faculty of language or linguistic is called the universal grammar. So, okay. So, in the number two, or the next about the perspective of learning processing input, okay, it means about if you will wanted to learn about a new language, okay, you will need to follow about the L2 rules, okay, because it is the most efficient way to understand easily about what language that you study. Okay, so those are the two perspective learner processing input. Okay, so for now, we are on the characteristics of linguistic universal. Okay, this is the theory from the Fromkin and Rudman. Okay, so the first was wherever humans exist, language was exist also. So it means about if there is a place or something, a country that the humans there have a different language, that the language was exist also. Okay, and the second was all languages change through time. Okay, generation to the next generation or generation to generation, the language was been changed. Okay, for example, about we adapt about the language of gay lingua. Okay, like we see about something, we we say about something that's Chenelen, di ba? Chenelen, okay? We talk about the Chenelen na itich, okay? So that's we adapt about the language or something that the language was been changed. For example, about hungry, instead of hungry, many people are used about um, starving. Okay. So the next, the relationship between the sounds and meanings of spoken languages, and between the gestures, signs, and meanings of sign languages are for the most part are called arbitrary. Okay. So in the number three, about the gesture, okay, like we raise our eyebrows, there's a meaning about that. Okay. And there's a lot of gesture that we always use on the public in something. Um, we meet our friends, our teachers in the public, okay, so we always use about, or we can notice about the gesture, like the way, like this, instead we say bye bye or goodbye, okay, like hello or hi, okay, so that's why. Okay, and the number four, there are no primitive languages. It is same on the number two, it has the same meaning, or it has a connection. All languages change through time. Okay, in the number five, every language has a way referring to time forming past time, forming questions, issuing commands, and so on. So every language there's have a way of repairing, like forming a question. Okay, so there's have and a changing or referring away. Okay, so about the number 6, there are semantic universals such as male or female, animate or human, found in every world. Okay, I think this one about the sound, not a sound, about the word meaning. Okay, like a boy, it's something you can speak to your friends, all boys that your friends, it's something you know the meaning, but aside from girls or female, it has a bad influence to them if you see about that word. Okay, so next slide. Okay, number 7, about the similar grammatical categories. For example, the noun and verb are found in all languages. Okay, it is always there's have a noun and verb. Okay, that's one of the characteristic of linguistic universal. Number 8, all grammar contain rules for the information of words and sentences of similar kind. Okay. Okay. So that the rules was contains about the grammar rules, it has been there. Okay. So next, every spoken language includes the discrete sound segments like the P, in, or A, which can be defined by a finite set of sound properties or features. Every spoken language has a class of vowels and a class of consonant. Example about the word monitor. Okay, the vowels and also the consonants. If you cannot make the word without something about the consonant and the vowels. Okay, so it one of the most fundamental rules about the spoken language. Okay, next, all human languages utilize a finite set of discrete sounds or gestures are combined to form meaningful elements or words, which themselves form an finite set of possible sentences. Okay, so I even said earlier about the gesture, there's a lot of meaning, like the way we act about this, we just about this. Okay, bye bye, goodbye, hello, or hi. We raise our eyebrows. Okay, it means to agree or something you like about his or her opinion. Okay, the next, any normal child born anywhere in the world of any racial, geographical, social, or economic heritage is capable of learning any language to which he or she exposed. The differences we find among languages cannot be due to biological reason. So it's something about um, the children or the child or the baby was then born or something in their house. We talk about or use a language Tagalog, and but Tagalog, instead of Tagalog, we also learn about an English, like more about Bisaya person. Okay, so we know about that the Bisaya person or something, the Cebuano, they are usually speak fluency about an English language. Okay, so the last characteristic of universal of the linguistic universal rather, speakers of all languages are capable of producing and comprehending an infinite set of sentences. Okay, what's from that's from the book of Introduction of Language. So those are the kinds of characteristics of linguistic universal. Okay, one of the important, those are the important thing that you will do to practice if you wanted to be a linguistic person. Okay. Okay, so we are now on the universal grammar. by the Chomsky. This is the theory by the Chomsky, okay? First, all languages have a certain basic structures in common. So, these are called universal. Universal, okay. So, next, Noam Chomsky was argued that the human brain contains a limited set of constraints for organizing language. This implies, in turn, that all languages have a common structural basis, the set of rules known as the universal grammar. Okay, so according to the Chomsky, okay, all languages there's have a common structural. That was the set of rules by the grammar. Okay, so next slides. Okay, and that he claims that the language is governed by a set of highly abstract principles that provide parameters which are given particular setting in different languages. Okay, grammar is often to a certain limited number of possibilities. Example, the word order. There's have a 75% of the world languages use this order or use these rules. Okay. The basic postulate of universal grammar is that a certain set of structural rules are innate to humans, independent of sensory experience. Okay, so example about this kind of presentation. Okay, there's have a subject, verb, and object. Okay, in the language 1 or L1, okay, this is the thing that we called about the L2 roles. Okay, first is name of the person, Ella, Melvin, or what is your name? Okay, the name. Okay, that was the subject. Okay, and the verb come, and our verb is word come. Okay, and the object is protest. Protest. Okay, and the language 2 or the L2. Okay, this is the determine about the sentence. Okay, instead of Ella, okay, we use about she or he, her or his, him or her. Okay, and then eats, something that our verb, fruits, and our object. Okay, so we can notice easily or understand about this kind of structural roles that was on the universal grammar. Okay, so next. Okay, this is the LAD theory or the language acquisition device. Okay, according to Noam Chomsky, 1965, the language acquisition device was or proposed by Noam Chomsky that to explain on how the children, when exposed to the any human that is speaks any different languages, and it is able to learn it within and only few years following existence. Okay, so he meant to say about I am the one that who born in this world. Okay, so I live in the Philippines country. So there's a lot of different dialects. So in the Surigao was they use about Bisaya, more Bisaya. Okay, so that's why my dialect was Bisaya. So through existence, on the following few years, only a few years, I've been learning that about I can speak Tagalog and also about an English. Okay, even you are not affluent to speak with that language or languages, but since we exist in this world, we learn that by through development or developing about through hearing, through learning about in school. Okay, so that's why the existence in this world about the language was been in your own action. Okay, so Chomsky argued that all humans are born with human language. Include in this innate knowledge must be details of important characteristics of all the world's language. The term that Noam Chomsky used is the universal grammar. So that's what I said earlier about the common structural rules about the subject, verb, and object. Okay, so has been used describe to the knowledge contained in the LAD stands for language acquisition device. So that's what the LAD theory about. Okay. Next. Okay, so how it works. Okay, how it works. Okay, according by the Chomsky, okay, he discovered when the children are learned to speak, they don't make the errors you would expect. Okay, the next was Chomsky present that every child was born with LAD, or stands for language acquisition device, that holds the fundamental roles for language. So for example, about ourselves, okay, we born in this world, there's have an input, there's have an, or we born with LAD, with language acquisition device. Okay, so that next, okay, I'm so sorry about the interruption. Okay, so next, Chomsky was put forward a number of pieces of evidence to support his history. He gave a raise to the language is fundamentally similar across all of humanity. Okay, because of the language, we can be communicate each other so that we can unite or something, having a unity or to help each other because of the language. So that's why this kind of topic is one of the fundamental of the theory's language acquisition. So I hope that those story by the Chomsky, Noam Chomsky, you understand, and also about, you can notice that we born with LAD or something, we born in this world, we born in this world rather, we born in this world rather with an a language acquisition device. Okay, so those are my presentation all about. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. Keep always safe and keep keep thriving yourself or something about keep fighting. Stay positive, and also about don't stop studying also about the language. Okay. Thank you so much, and once again, always be careful of your life. Okay. Goodbye.